Well, we got a real race for our hands in Best Comedy Directing at the Emmys. Here to discuss our Gold Derby contributors, Amanda Spears, Riley Chow, Tom O'Brien, Tony Ruiz, and myself, Zach Laws. Let's just go through the nominees real quick because we've got two Atlanta episodes, Teddy Perkins and Fubu. Fubu is directed by last year's winner, Donald Glover. We've also got the pilot for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We've got the pilot for Barry. We got the pilot for Glow. We got Initial Coin Offering from Silicon Valley. And a surprise seventh nominee, The Big Bang Theory for the Bow Tie Symmetry. So, Riley Chow, should we rank The Big Bang Theory a little bit higher in our predictions? Or, what have you got out here to win?
Well, you say it's a race, but I think the race is over. I think this is pretty easily The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel for the pilot. It surprises me a little that the odds have Teddy Perkins ahead. I think what people don't realize when they're ranking in this category in the prediction center is that voters are not choosing between Teddy Perkins and Fubu. They're choosing between Teddy Perkins and Donald Glover. Because on the actual ballot, it'll say Fubu by Donald Glover. And yes, Teddy Perkins was the episode of Atlanta this year, but also Donald Glover is Atlanta. So I think there are a number of people who are fans of Atlanta who are going to go for Donald Glover. A number of them will go for Teddy Perkins. And The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel might have won anyway.
Well, Tony, let me ask you this because you're an Atlanta
fan. I didn't even need my compromising photos.
You're an Atlanta fan like myself, Tony. So last year, Hero was not nominated for Atlanta, even though he's the series director on Atlanta. But this year he is, and he's got a much higher profile this year as well because of the This Is America music video. And as Riley said, Teddy Perkins was the episode of Atlanta. So do you see that as a challenger, or does the presence of Donald Glover in the category hurt his chances and thereby swing it towards Mrs. Maisel?
No, in fact, I think Riley's dead wrong.
We got
I don't think the presence of Donald Glover for Fubu changes the fact that Teddy Perkins was the episode of television of the year. I think the fact that Teddy Perkins is on here I think it's the only possible winner. I don't think anybody cares that Donald Glover didn't direct it. Hero Murai has enough of cachet at this point, not just with the video, but with directing Barry. He directed 2 episodes of Barry. This is going to be their play. This is going to be the place where, if Maisel's going to win writing, which we all think that it is, and there's a real fight between Maisel and Atlanta in comedy series, and I think it could go either way. I'm predicting Maisel at this point. This is a place where they can definitely honor the most acclaimed episode of television, comedy or drama this year. To me, it's kind of a slam dunk.
Amanda, let me go to you because last few years, these two awards have not matched. Writing and directing have not matched up, right?
They typically don't.
Right, yeah.
Comedy side. Yeah.
We've seen the matchup 3 years in a row on the drama side, but on comedy, I mean, we really have seen the writers vote for what they like and the directors vote for what they like.
And neither win drama series and neither win comedy series. So
Exactly. So, I mean, you're a Mrs. Maisel fan. I don't think I'm giving anything away there. But is Maisel going to be the one you think that could break that trend and actually win both for writing and directing for Amy Sherman-Palladino? Or do you think they might just think of it more as a writer's achievement and then go for something else in directing?
No, I think the difference between the two is that what Amy Sherman-Palladino constructed was the perfect pilot. All around perfect pilot. I don't need to see the official Rachel Brosnahan Emmy submission unless she was hit on the head and drugged. She's submitting the pilot. I think it's got such a life and energy in the way it's moving and just the way it's put together that only comes from the directing aspect of it. It's in the words, but there is such an energy to the way this episode was directed that I think it does win. And it's very, very rare. I think Modern Family might be the last to win writing and directing. Help me out, Riley. But I don't think it was for the same episode.
Oh, God. I don't think...
I'll be quiet while I'm on Wikipedia. You guys just keep talking amongst yourselves.
Let me go to Tom O'Brien then, because let me just say, in defense of both of these episodes, Teddy Perkins, which is what I'm predicting as of right now. I'm with Tony. It was the episode of the year. But Mrs. Maisel, I saw it on a big screen at the Hollywood Athletic Club with a group of Emmy voters, and it looks very good. It is a very well-directed pilot. So Tom O'Brien, be our tiebreaker. What do you think? Come on.
They do two very different things. I think it is between Teddy Perkins and the Mrs. Maisel pilot.
And you're still looking very good, Tom. I still need something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Flattery works every time.
Yes, it does.
We'll see. What Teddy Perkins, it's the concept of it that just feels like an art film, like something that would play, in a limited number of theaters and just make critics' jaws drop. Maisel seems much more mainstream. What's great about the Maisel pilot, though, is the attention to detail. In terms of not just the costumes, the set decoration is perfect. The atmosphere in the comedy club, even down to the number of cigarettes people smoke, it really felt like the period. It doesn't have has a different kind of an imaginative world it's creating. I think that Teddy Perkins is more daring, and it's possible that the directors may reward it with that. But if I have to predict, I think it'll be Mrs. Maisel, because I think that directors will see the amount of work that had to go into getting that period stuff right.
Let me ask you guys about some of these other contenders. Barry, another pilot that's nominated
just
here.
To jump in,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. The Modern Family did win writing and directing, but Caught in the Act, which I still love that episode. I saw it on USA a couple days ago. One for writing, and Halloween one for directing. I'm just checking the last one possible, so just keep going.
Oh, no problem. Anyway, let's Barry, also directed by Bill Hader. Could he follow in Donald Glover's footsteps from last year and win this, or is he just kind of overshadowed by the more apparent directorial achievements of Teddy Perkins and Mrs. Maisel? What do you guys think?
If they evenly split Mrs. Maisel and Teddy Perkins, there is a slight chance that Barry could come up the middle.
I think what might help Teddy Perkins, and I love Donald Glover, he is still primarily an actor. Mm-hmm. And, the directors can be snobs. It's very, very rare for actor directors to win. And last year, he made history as the first African-American director to win this category. Now, what helped him do that is they're not statisticians and historians like we are. Whereas I'm sure if they knew, there probably would have been some who were like, I don't know if I want to give that to an actor. So I do think that Teddy Perkins could be helped by the fact that the other one is an actor. And it's like, do we really want to make Donald Glover a two-time director winner? I could see that snobbish, we're going to let some actor win director 2 years in a row kind of a thing.
And it is interesting you bring that up because, just looking at, this specific category,
actors, haters in there.
Yeah. But, in terms of winners, I think, is he the first actor to have won this category since Alan Alda for MASH?
I think so.
Yeah. That's really something. I think he totally deserved it, obviously, but, you may have a point about that. So that might work in Hero's favor a bit. I think that possibly part of the reason why Donald Glover won this award last year was as a win for Atlanta. And, since he was the one nominated over Hero, that might have just kind of worked to his benefit.
Yeah, and he didn't have a vote splitting like he did in writing last year, where There's no names, and that's probably what helped. I hate talking about him. Louis win that category twice because they don't have the names on there. So the writers, who even if they might be snobbish, no offense, Tom,
Thank you.
just saying, I don't want to give a writer the writing award. I don't want to give some actor best writing. But they don't know unless they're like, looking these people up.
Well, I mean, in the case of somebody like a Louis Voldemort, everybody knew that he wrote all of the episodes of that show. What's interesting to me about this directing category is, when you have 7 nominees, you need a much smaller percentage to win.
Do we really have 7? I mean, come on. Is anyone going to vote for the Big Bang Theory? Come on.
Well, he got in, so somebody likes it.
Yeah, he got in.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone.
I wonder where, if we just saw the vote total, it was. I doubt this was like the actual number 7 and not like number 27. Not to be a brat.
But to me, and I do think that for me the number 2 in this is the Maisel pilot. I think it would win over Glover winning. I just think Teddy Perkins is too undeniable an achievement to go home completely empty-handed. If Maisel wins comedy and Palladino wins writing, this is a perfect place to reward Atlanta, and Donald Glover still gets his Emmy for comedy actor unless Bill Hader steals it from him. So,
but unlike the correct me if I'm wrong, but unlike the Oscars where everyone votes for everything, it's just directors voting.
That's right.
So they're not thinking, I'm going to spread it around and I'm going to give writing to Mrs. Maisel and I'm going to give directing to Atlanta.
They would never be able to coordinate it.
Yeah, right. There's no way of knowing. So to me, I think, again, kudos to the directing branch. They have picked episodes where arguably they would have won under a panel system. I don't think they're thinking, oh, this is the award we're going to give to Atlanta and we're going to let the writers take care of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I think they're looking at the directing achievements of these episodes. And remember, sometimes more is better. And Mrs. Maisel is an hour-long show.
Well, Teddy Perkins is about 45 minutes, so
without commercials.
Okay, you can't let me have anything. I know.
I know. We just, as long as we're talking about size mattering.
And speaking of it, I found it. I think this is the last time, and this is ironic since we're talking about Mrs. Maisel possibly winning writing and directing. Malcolm in the Middle won 17 years ago for Bowling, and actually the previous year for their pilot for writing and directing, and did not win comedy series. So that's another statistic to look at. Like if Marvelous Mrs. Maisel wins writing and directing and they don't give it comedy series, then I'm going to be screaming sexist at the top of my lungs on the post show. Because that's just jarring to think you.
Back then, it was a panel system, so
I know, but just to think that you could win writing and directing and not win. I mean, if that happened at the Oscars, we'd be like, WTF? Like, come on.
I can't imagine you screaming if Mrs. Maisel lost. You're just so even-natured.
Thank you.
Didn't My Name Is Earl win that too?
What?
Didn't My Name Is Earl win writing and directing and not series?
I don't think it won both. I think it won.
It won writing. It won writing. I don't think it won directing.
Yeah.
Can I say something? This is not. I mean, we're not talking about winning here, but I just wanted to give a shout out because I was very impressed with Jesse Peretz's direction of the pilot of Glow.
Yes.
There's no reason why this show was as good as it turned out to be, but it is, and it's hugely enjoyable. Granted, the writing is very good, and the acting is terrific. I don't know why Mark Maron isn't in there or Alison Brie. But it's.
I have a couple ideas on Alison Brie, but I won't share those on air.
That's right. Yeah, check with the lawyers first. Yeah, but it's the direction is just beautifully done, and if the field was different, we might be talking about this as a potential spoiler. I don't think it is, but great work all around.
Yeah, and I mean that's a show also that is very much dare we say action oriented? I mean, it's about female wrestlers and it's very visually stunning in a lot of cases. You know,
If
so
the
it was
show
very-
had done better, I think it would stand a better chance. Because
Isn't
it is a rougher kind of action-packed comedy.
Well, it did get 10 nominations. It's surprising that it got that many, and Alison Brie and Mark Maron were not among them, and it wasn't in for writing as well. But I do kind of think, I wonder with the second season now airing and being even better than the first, I mean, does that kind of help raise its profile a little bit? Maybe some people who've got a little bit of buyer's remorse about not having Alison Brie and Mark Maron or the writers in there, maybe it helps it pick up some awards, if not necessarily here, but
No, because
elsewhere.
Jodie Foster didn't win for Orange is the New Black, and that was airing when they were voting.
Well, if Amanda says no, then I
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, Jodie Foster's got the name, the show's airing while it's voting. I did love the clip of when they had the actors talking about the directors, and he goes, "It's just great working for Jodie Foster because you know you'll never do it as better than she actually could."
That was a panel vote, though.
right.
I know.
My Name is Earl did win writing, directing, casting, and editing, and was not nominated for series. The other nominee in this category is Mike Judge, who I'll just mention is only the second person after James Burrows to be nominated for both the Emmy and the Directors Guild Award for the first 4 seasons of comedy series. And now he's on nomination number 5 for Silicon Valley.
I think Silicon Valley would have benefited from a panel system. I think especially that first series, season finale, that first year, it probably would have picked up one by now.
Just because it's like overtly comedic, which they always like.
Yeah. But it's never going to win comedy series. But I think in a panel system, 80 people, it would have stood a better chance, especially that crazy, I won't go into it, details episode.
I do want to, you know, I know we're kind of dismissing his chances a bit. I'm going to talk about the Big Bang Theory guy. No, I'm kidding. You know,
hey, if he's well liked enough to get the rules changed, you never know.
No. I'm going to. I do want to talk about the episode that Donald Glover is nominated for, FUBU. You know, it's interesting. I mean, we're talking about, you know, him being an actor turned director, and him being the first actor, I guess, since Alan Alda to win here. You know, this guy, I mean, these 2 episodes that he's been nominated for, BAN and FUBU, these are really daring and innovative episodes of comedy. You know, I mean, FUBU is it's basically like a half-hour drama, and it's very tragic, and you know, it's very well directed. And the fact that he worked with, you know, directing children, I think could help him in some sense. I mean, we all know how difficult it is to even talk to a child, much less tell it what to do.
We saw your interview with the little girl from Florida Project.
Oh, you don't have to. So
I read the comments. I'm like, man, you got off easy. I'm just kidding.
thank you. But I mean, are we underestimating his chances, even though he won last year, and he's, you know, working on a show that could very well win Best Comedy Series? You know, are we underestimating his chances? What do you guys think?
I don't think I don't think it's underestimating. I just think that, you know, I think that episode as a comedy directing nomination. Now, yes, you know, we could stand here talk for hours about the merits of even calling Atlanta a comedy, but when you look at FUBU, I think the one thing that I mean, that's a tough episode. And I just feel like the achievement of Teddy Perkins, the fact that Teddy Perkins is essentially a 45-minute, if FUBU is a half-hour drama, then Teddy Perkins is a 45-minute horror film that has some moments of comedy in it, just because by nature of Lakeith Stanfield. I think that FUBU might be too even for the Academy, which has shown that it's willing to reward dramas in the comedy category. I think that episode might just be a little bit too dark. But if they're just going on name alone, You know, it's Donald Glover. Hello.
Well, that also could be the downfall of the episode. It's Donald. I mean, there could be, again, actor. There could be some directors who are like, I'm sick of these actors being nominated. I know, but that was pre the Oscars where two of them took up spots. There might just be some directors who are like, you know what? I'm just sick of these actors overall in these categories. They got Jason Bateman in there, which I can't roll my eyes hard enough without giving myself an optic headache.
Yeah, but it's really fun to watch you try.
No, but still, I'm just saying, like, there could be some actual just directors who are just fed up with these directors in their categories, and they're just not going to vote for them.
Well, let me just say,
I don't think they know what episodes Donald Glover is directing because they have these acronym titles, first BAN and now FUBU, all capitalized. So I have Donald Glover second and Teddy Perkins third.
let me also say this. I mean, so, one of the things that I think separates him from a lot of, actors who direct their own shows is that, I mean, he does not appear in the episodes that he's directing. So, I mean, he is definitely very focused on the duties of a director.
But it's still the Donald Glover show.
I understand. I understand.
Whether he's in the episode or not, it's still the Donald Glover show.
I understand.
I'm just throwing out theories as far as, like, if you're a director who's worked your entire life and that's all you do, I could understand how some of these directors who have watched were like, yay, good for Donald Glover. He was great. He did a great episode last year. He deserved to win. And then they've seen Greta Gerwig, Jordan Peele. Now we've got two of them, and one in drama and one in comedy, where it's like, what the heck? Like, they could just be upset about it. That's the only thing I'm throwing out there as, like, a theory, is maybe some of those true directors are just like, you know what? I just can't do it this year.
Well, I'm
sorry. I like Donald Glover's episode, but
I was just going to use that as a segue to talk seriously about the Big Bang Theory, because if there is one group of people who is tired of being overlooked, it is the multi-camera sitcom directors. And correct me if I'm wrong about this, but is this the first? I think the last multi-camera sitcom to actually win for directing was Frasier back in 1997. Am I right about that?
Sure, why not?
It's quite possible, actually.
Because I'm looking at Larry Sanders Show, Sports Night, Malcolm in the Middle, Sex and the City, Curb, Arrested Development, Desperate Housewives, My Name is Earl, Ugly Betty, Pushing Daisies, The Office, Glee, Modern
Family. We get it. You don't have to read out the rest of the list. You're right.
You're right.
I guess I'm just trying to rub it in a little bit more. But I mean, they put in this new rule. They put in this guy who directed 500 episodes of The Big Bang Theory before he finally ever got into the Emmy conversation. I don't think a multicam sitcom has even been nominated for this award since
7 years.
1990. Yeah.
Thanks. So, I mean, is there?
Riley was ready.
Is there the possibility that this could just,
My question is, how many of them are left that they would vote in a block? Like, this isn't Survivor. It's unfortunately, it is a little bit of a dying art form.
Yep. Zach, the answer is no.
Yeah, no.
Well, thanks for making me feel better. That's all I really wanted.
I did like the series finale. I did like the season finale of The Big Bang Theory, so it was a cute episode.
You watched it? I didn't.
I watched it.
Yeah, I watched it.
I wanted it. Yeah.
I didn't even know they were still airing the show. I thought it just kind of got.
You can go on CBS's website and watch it. So.
I got other things to do with 20 minutes of my time, so I don't know.
I know.
Well, all right. Final thoughts, Tony.
Teddy Perkins.
Tom O'Brien.
Oh boy, this is a toughie. I think Mrs. Maisel, but I would be much happier if Teddy Perkins won.
Not so good looking now, huh? Riley.
Maisel will sweep.
Amanda.
I'm with Riley, which gives me this pain in my side because usually he's the one I'm arguing with. But yeah, either that or my appendix is about to rupture. But I think that the marvelous Mrs. Maisel has an energy that directors are going to respond to.
Well, I'm going with Teddy Perkins because I think that Atlanta's got a fighting chance of winning comedy series, but I think that Mrs. Maisel is definitely in this race as well. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how these two shows go in terms of wins throughout the night. That does it for this discussion, everyone. We've got a billion other categories to talk about, so stick with us. Thank you all for joining, and thank you all for watching.
Bye.